Welcome to Transport Vlog. My name is Paul, and with me today I have Phil from Sydney Trains Vlogs.
Hi, how are we?
And we're just going to have a bit of a chat today. We're on platform 12 at Central Station. We've got the suburban platforms behind us, and we're just going to talk a bit about trains and that kind of stuff. And Phil, I thought I'd just start by asking you about how you got into trains in the first place.
Well, how I got into trains, I guess, started when I was a kid. Thank you to my grandfather.
Okay.
Because I grew up in Richmond,
Right,
in Sydney's northwest.
Oh, you're on the Richmond line. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I lived in Richmond.
Okay.
My grandfather lived in Windsor, so a few suburbs apart.
Yeah.
So on some weekends, I would go from Richmond, from my mum's, to stay with my grandfather for the weekend, and obviously I needed to use a train line.
Right, I see, yeah.
I then became obsessed-ish with trains, going back and forth.
I like obsessed-ish.
Yeah, obsessed-ish. not admitting the obsessed in full. So I travelled on trains quite a bit between Richmond and Windsor. Sometimes I was lucky enough to be able to, score a trip into the city.
Oh, okay,
I loved the city circle because I wasn't too used to the whole, underground type thing.
Yeah. I guess, Richmond to the city when you're a kid, that's like a special treat, isn't it? To get into town. Yeah, it is much. It's an hour and 20 minutes was infinitely better than the and I guess those
15.
days it was electrified, the Richmond line at that time. It was. So I guess your S sets, K sets, things like that.
It was mainly R sets, S sets, and Tangara. Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So that was really cool. The S sets. Mostly were unrefurbished as well, so there were a number of them that did not have the destination screens, and they were plain silver at the front, everything like that as well, which is pretty cool. Something I wish I could capture now, actually.
Yeah. I know. I'm the same as filming I did in the 80s that I wish I'd kept, or even just photos. So for sure.
Yeah. But it was 1997. I was 5 years old. That's when I got into trains, so it's been a while.
97, right? Okay.
It's been a minute.
Okay, all right. And then you started the channel almost 10 years ago now, isn't it? Is it over 10 years ago?
10 years ago. My first vlog was here at Central.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
On I don't know the exact date. I'll need to look that up. It was in January 2014.
Oh, right. So is this like a New Year's resolution then to start doing transport videos, or is it just coincidental?
I'd watched a YouTube channel called Nikki and John Vlog. It's just like a family. They would just film their daily life and everything like that. Yeah. And so I thought to myself, like I'd filmed a couple of short videos beforehand of trains passing stations and things like that for the channel before I actually started the whole vlogging kind of thing.
So what were you using then? Because smartphones were not quite as advanced then. Was that what you were using to film? Or
I was using my iPhone 4S.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was my first thing.
Did that even do HD?
720p. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 720.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the beginning of HD. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. So I thought one day I was here at Central, January 2014.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna just video.
Yeah.
Whatever, just anything around me and just narrate it.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then in the first few vlogs, I just did random stuff. I forgot what I did, like just around the city circle and maybe out to Redfern or something like that. And suddenly people started subscribing and saying like, "Oh, this is actually pretty interesting." Like, what?
How did you find the narration bits? Because obviously lots of people on YouTube just they film trains, but they don't really talk about them. So how did you find that in the early days?
Interesting. I was actually kind of embarrassed to do it because I was thinking I'm talking to myself here. People are gonna look at me like I'm, an idiot or something. I don't know. But
these days it's quite normal to talk to yourself, isn't it? Because people are on like wireless headsets and things. But 10 years ago it was very different. Yeah.
Now, now I'm used to it. I don't mind. I used to avoid people. Like being around people just in case I get looked at. But now I'm just like whatever. I'll just flip my phone out, and if I see something interesting that I want to cover, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Whatever.
Exactly,
awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
But we were chatting a little bit yesterday, and we were talking about the day that City Rail became Sydney Trains.
Yes.
Was the day that the landslide happened at Harris Park.
Yeah.
And that was one of your earliest videos.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was was it? I forgot the exact day. It was like June or July. 2013. Day one of Sydney Trains and New South Wales Train Link. There was a retaining wall or something that gave way on platform 4 at Harris Park, covering the track and the platform, and that took a long time to clear. A lot of inconvenience. I don't know. It was very weird. I don't know if you'd call it. I guess it's just plain bad luck. It was
one of those things that happens. But I remember that well. So
that was interesting. I watched the news because, the Sydney Railway rebranded, everything like that. I'm like, oh, this is going to be very interesting. I watched the news clip, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Yep, good new logos and everything on the trains and everything like that. New liveries on the Waratahs, the A-sets. Then this is cool. They flip between.
Go on.
Sorry,
you keep going. Once you've talked about that, I want to talk about new livery on the Waratahs.
Yes, and then they just flipped to, I guess, a more, I don't know, not so great part of the thing. With the landslide at Harris Park, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's not interesting, weird. But
So, because I'm trying to remember, I mean, I've been into trains for a long time as well, but in 2014 I was kind of riding trains. But so did liveries change much with the change to Sydney trains?
So the Waratahs were, do you know where the orange crescent shape where the crew compartment is? That was just plain, just like the rest of them.
Oh, well, okay.
With the government Waratah logo there. On the first day of Sydney trains, there was a few Waratah sets that came out on the day, day one with the orange.
Right, okay.
The new logos. And of course the new logos coming out on a lot of trains. A year and a bit later, the Hunter sets up in the Newcastle and Hunter region, they started being repainted, or I guess rewrapped into the New South Wales train link, sort of red colour instead of the blue and yellow. But as in terms of actual liveries, nothing major changed apart from that.
And the K sets and S sets at that time, they didn't really change.
Apart from the branding.
Just putting the branding on.
That's it.
So where's the furthest you've travelled? Well, let's do two. Let's do within Australia and overseas. Meaning as in like in the state now? Because I'm just anywhere. Well, we could even do New South Wales, Australia wide, and international. So,
I'll start with New South Wales. I've gone to Wauchope in the of, I guess, North Coast-ish. I've filmed out west at Ardglen.
I'm not even sure where that is.
That was a windy day. I've just been all over New South Wales. It's sort of I'm not sure what the furthest would be, but I've filmed around Brisbane's network in Queensland.
I remember seeing
Cairns.
Cairns
as well. Victoria. I've filmed in Melbourne's Metro network, and also filmed a steam train trip out to Maui, with a coach trip out to Mount Baw as part of the steam rail snow train.
Oh wow! Okay.
In Victoria, that was really cool. As for international, in 2019 and again in 2022, I travelled to New York, which was absolutely incredible. The rail network there is impressive. It's old. The detail in a lot of the train stations is off the chart. This year, 2023, travelled to Los Angeles. Didn't do too much in the way of train spotting there. However, I did a little bit. It was more like just like filming daily activities and things like that, which did include trains sometimes. But I'm a traveller. I love. I can't stay in one spot for too long.
And what is it about the US? I've never been to the US, so let's say there's someone's watching this, never been to the US. What would you say is the attraction of the US for you?
That's one question I've never been able to answer it 100%. Like I don't know. I just like it really. However, I will say in a railway point of view, I do like the New York subway. That's one thing I've seen quite a bit of on a channel based in New York. I think he calls himself DJ Hammers. He does almost like what we do, I just sort of cover lots of different bits and pieces all around the network. And before I even went there, a year or two before I even went there, I sort of knew about how the network worked and their train types and things like that. So I don't know. I suppose Yeah, as I said, it's a hard question to
I put you on the spot a bit with that one.
That's all right. That's good.
By the way, we haven't really rehearsed this, so
that's it.
Phil doesn't really know what questions I'm going to ask, but I'm going to try not to ask him any really hard ones. So yeah. So what inspired you? You know, actually, when you started doing your channel 10 years ago, I mean, were there other people doing that? Was there anyone who inspired you to start doing it? Or?
There were people filming in general, just like, trains arriving and departing stations randomly.
Yeah.
I didn't see much, if anything, in the form of like, the whole narration type thing, saying what kind of train's passing, where it's going, everything like that. That I didn't see anything of. I guess it started a bit of a it would be trend, a bit of a thing.
Yeah.
And what got me in, or what made me want to start that was, well, after my trial, I guess you could say.
Your trial, okay.
With my just walking around talking, whatever I was talking about.
Yeah.
For the first video and the subscriber count going up, and thinking, okay, well, I must be doing something right here.
Right. Yeah.
So I just kept going, and then people started commenting saying, "Hey, this is really cool. I really appreciate this kind of thing." And then I started getting messages saying like, "Hey, look, your videos help when you're going through a bit of a tough time." And I'm like, oh,
that's interesting.
Okay,
isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just thinking, if all I need to do is stand at a train platform and film trains go past until the video gets to 8, 10, 15, whatever minutes long, and just talk and be a bit humorous at times, and cool. I mean, good. That's incredible. I mean, I like doing it, and if it helps other people too, that's a bonus.
I guess railways and trains can be a lovely way to kind of just relax, forget about life.
Oh yeah.
Going on a train ride is just a really nice way to just contemplate life a little bit, think about things.
Exactly.
So, and it's just
there's a number of days where I think all of us get you like the anxiety side of things, like myself, you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to do anything, but then again, it just sort of gives you you're just going to lay there and just think, which I think might be the problem. So I'll get out and I'll be like, oh, do I want to do a video today or not? And then as soon as I'm like, hey, like it's Bill, and film trains or whatever. Then it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing what I like to do, and if I want some absolute peace and quiet, I head out to Wonderbine and then still film the trains, but it's really quiet. Yeah.
There's usually no one there. I think at weekends sometimes there's a few walkers and people.
It'll be a few. On the weekends. It's a popular track actually.
It is. I've done bits of it. Up to Mount Wonderbine. It's cool. So this is not your only channel. You also have another channel called Abandoned Oz.
Yes,
so
it is completely different.
Now, some people watching this may not have come across your channel yet. So tell us a bit about it. And when did that start? And what was the idea behind that?
Abandoned Oz started in 2015. There we go. It started in 2015. So it's
so it's almost as long.
8 years, nearly 9 years old.
Okay.
So with Abandoned Oz, how I actually got into that sort of, again, as a kid, I sort of liked the whole haunted house and ghost stories side of things. And then growing up, watching YouTube, I come across people called urbexers, or people who do urban exploration, exploring exploring abandoned buildings. And I'm like, this sort of, I guess, goes hand in hand with the haunted house thing as a kid. So I was out in Kellyville one day, and I saw this just old fibro abandoned house that was pretty beaten up.
Wonder if it's still there, or whether it's been.
It's long gone. I think there's apartments there now. So I ended up going in that house.
Oh wow!
And then just looking around, I didn't film that. And then it was good. I was like, wow, I like this. This is interesting. So because I knew about quite a few places around. So I went home that day. Or that night, and I was just like, why didn't I just do a video of a walkthrough of this place? So then I was just doing a bit of research on abandoned places in and around Sydney, and I found the Caringbah High School, which has now been demolished.
All right, okay,
that was my first proper explore. Okay. I filmed it. It was something similar to the train spotting. Something like I felt at home doing. And over time, Abandoned Oz evolved into, well, I guess what it is now, exploring the abandoned places, exploring places that are closing down, for example, the Harbourside Shopping Centre.
A lot of that recently,
and so people can go back on the videos and see like a walkthrough, then like step by step, I guess, updates of its demolition and things like that.
And that's one thing your videos are on both channels really is a recollection of memories, archive. Isn't it? For an archive, And you have the days where all these things are officially archived, but now there's so many unofficial records of things.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, right now there might just be a form of entertainment, which is good. But down the track, as time goes on, I suppose the videos or the memories will be a lot more valuable, I guess. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. But that's another reason why I do what I do. I love it. It's incredible.
I'm putting you on the spot a bit here.
That's right.
What would you say is the creepiest to build you've been in?
Or
creepiest place you've been to?
The creepiest place building I've been into was the Goulburn Orphanage.
Oh, okay.
That one. Yeah. Not sure if yourself or any of you believe in the whole ghosts and everything like that. But there were apparently it's one of the most haunted places in the country.
Okay,
It as well has been completely demolished.
Oh wow! Okay.
But that place, it is a place where I just have like the I get the heebie-jeebies. yeah.
And then I remember I think I first came across your Abandoned Oz channel was probably around the time you did the Sydney Speedway one.
Yeah.
And you got a bit of a story because I was doing a video on the whole Clyde maintenance facility for Sydney Metro West, and I saw your video, and I was impressed that you got inside. But tell us a little bit about how that happened.
So one day I decided to check out Sydney Speedway for Abandoned Oz. I was just sort of like sussing out what was happening with it, if there was just like any access and everything like that. And I didn't at that time didn't know that there was actually someone living there.
Right. Okay.
So I was just being creepy me, standing out the front.
You're not really creepy.
No. Standing out the front of the speedway outside the gates. And someone walks up to me saying, "Well, what are you doing here?" and that sort of thing. And I'm like, "Oh, just I have a YouTube channel, Abandoned Oz." And she's like, "I was wondering when you were going to show up." And I'm like,
So she was already watching your videos?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, okay.
So then basically she's like, "So you can take as many photos and videos as you like in here. Yeah. That's completely fine on one condition, that you do not upload until you're notified that this place that we've moved out or demolition has started, because we do live here." They lived in like a sort of a, I'm going to say demountable, or just a very small, but so there was that. So then I get notified sometime after saying, "Hey,
you're free to upload it."
Yeah. So I did, and that video went pretty well actually.
Yeah.
It's another thing, another popular thing for families and everything like that, so they can look back on it and go, "Wow, I remember this." And seeing it in the state that it was in. Yeah. Sort of overgrown and
Yeah. And with either channel really, if people are, we know that people have started YouTube channels, based on, I mean, to some degree myself, I started my channel based on seeing what you were doing.
Yes.
And I guess there's a lot of people that are doing that as well. If there's someone else that's like starting a channel, maybe they've got like 50 subscribers or 100 subscribers, if you could give them a little bit of advice, what would you say? What would you suggest to them?
Well, when it comes to the railway side of things, and that any advice that I'd give is just, safety advice number one.
Yeah, exactly.
Staying behind the yellow line.
Behind the yellow line.
If you're around another, I suppose there's lots of advice, but like if you're around a group of people, a group of friends that are also trying to film, like, I don't know, 3801 passing or something like that, try not get over the top of each other and kneel on the edge of the platform, which I've seen so many times. It actually kind of scares me a bit.
And what about if they're doing all the right things, but their channel's like 50 subscribers and they've done 4 videos and they're at 54 subscribers? What would you? I mean, I guess your channel was probably like that in the early days.
Yes. Just, I don't know, give it your own vibe, I guess. Sort of make it your own. I suppose that, like, a lot of people who do channel like railway kind of stuff like we do, and that will sort of get a lot of inspiration from us. But I guess you just sort of put a bit of yourself into it as well. That's it, just put a bit of yourself into it. Don't try to be something that you're not, I guess. I mean, like, don't try too hard is what I meant. Be yourself 100%. And then try to be a bit enthusiastic about it, I guess.
Well, hopefully you are enthusiastic already. So,
yeah, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
And if you need a coffee,
to
help with that.
Talking of coffee, that's a good idea.
Yes. Yes, I do start a few of my videos going, "Hi, I'm at Central Station now. I haven't had a coffee yet." You know what I mean?
I think it's just being yourself. I think people relate to people who can just be themselves, be their authentic self. I think that's good.
Yeah, that's it.
And creative as well, so that's good.
Yeah, just always just be yourself. Try not copy too much, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So what's the future? I have no idea how long we've been going for. 20 minutes. Okay, all right. So what do you see? Plans of travel and things coming up.
I'd like to travel a lot more. Not only around New South Wales. I want to show a few XPT trips somewhere. Which hopefully that will come up soon. Just maybe a regional XPT trip. Maybe to, I don't know.
Have you ever caught the train to Melbourne or Brisbane?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really, I love it. That's amazing. People are like, how do you sit there in economy for however many hours, like over 10 hours? I'm like, it's fine.
Again, it comes back to that. It's such a nice way to relax, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just look out the window.
100%. It's kind of like the flying kind of thing. Like Sydney to Los Angeles is a good 13 hours.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me. There's not 1 second where I was like, there's 9 hours to go. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done the trip to Melbourne, but I haven't done to Brisbane yet.
Yeah,
Brisbane's more tricky, isn't it? Because you kind of almost got to do it in the other direction from Brisbane to do it in daylight.
Yes. So, yes, that's true. You can do the from Sydney to Brisbane. You can do the morning casino trip, which have coach connections to Brisbane.
And you did the last bit by coach,
Yeah, so you get into casino, if I remember correctly, somewhere between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. ish.
Right. Yeah.
And then you get the coach, and that takes a good 3-ish hours, So that is actually my favorite to do.
So you could do it that way, and then if you really want to, if you really want more, you could then come back on the train.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's good. I love doing that then.
Yeah, that's great. And what else was I going to ask you? So we've got obviously a lot of exciting stuff happening next year, haven't we? We've got Sydney Metro opening.
Yes, there's going to be a lot to cover, which is good. It's amazing.
Actually, let's go back to 2019 then. So Sydney Metro Northwest. So were you there on the? No, you weren't. No, you were away. You were in the US. I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
I was in New York at the time, and after I'd booked the flights, because I had booked the flights in March of 2019, and I went in late May 2019.
I've got that dilemma next year because it's my next year's my dad's 80th, so I really do want to go home. And I know that if I book flights like now, like for May or June next year, that's when it's going to open.
It was kind of like that. I booked the flights, and then I saw on the news like a date has been set, and I'm like, so I looked at the date, and I'm like,
Now you've been behind the scenes a little bit, haven't you? I think you got to some of the, just generally, but I think on the Sydney Metro Northwest, you did get into some of the stations before they opened.
And I'm drawing a complete blank this morning. I think I know Castle Hill and Bella Vista. I'm pretty sure are the ones that I got into. For like a station open day, sort of thing. I think Castle Hill was the one where it was very near opening, and you'll be able to explore the station, and an amazing sort of background type thing where the Alston Metropolis sets zooming past every 5 to 10 minutes.
Were they stopping? Like they were on test and stopping? They were going through. Okay,
passing pretty fast, which was actually pretty cool.
That's quite amazing. I saw one at Chatswood go straight through without stopping, just coming out the side and go straight through. And it's like they don't slow down at all. They just
keep
go
going.
Through. I suppose they don't need to with the platform screen doors.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, but Metro is really good.
And so obviously next year we've got that opening, so that's pretty exciting.
Yes. There's that, and between now and then, I suppose covering the Bankstown line as well before its closure. There's quite a bit to
we don't know
there.
When that's going to be. It's closed at the moment, actually.
It is for 10 days.
Weeks.
So once that opens, I need to take a little bit of a trip through there to see what's changed, and then if there's any like bigger differences, then just hop off and sort of cover that, I guess.
That's kind of what I've been doing with the Bankstown lines recently. I've been filming it every couple of months, usually after there's been a 2-week shutdown, and just seeing what the differences are, and then maybe
that's it. And Parramatta Light Rail too.
Absolutely. I mean, we were both really lucky
to open this year, but I'm not sure. I did another walk along.
Yeah, I
week,
saw that.
actually, and
it
looks pretty, I don't know, sort of complete-ish. Not complete, but like I guess the only things that is the tram testing and deliveries.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a couple of units here now.
Do you know where they're stored at the moment?
Penrith. Yeah,
there's some in Penrith, but there's also some viewers. If you go to Camellia,
this is news to me.
Or Rose Hill Gardens, on the little bit that goes towards the maintenance facility, there's 3 stored there. We'll pop them up on the screen now, so you can see them.
I'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah, definitely. So that's
cool. Are they viewable from?
They're quite viewable, and there's security all around them, so there's no, you know, but you can definitely view them. So we'll pop it up on the screen for you now. So,
that's cool. News to me quite a bit, because I thought that there was only.
You should go down there now. There might be 4 by the time, because it was about 3 or 4 weeks
ago. I thought there was
so.
only 2 units here. I thought. Yeah. Anyway.
2 or 3, I think. Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. Well, hopefully testing will be able to start soon.
Yeah.
So there's that to cover. They'll obviously, just like the CBD and Southeast Light Rail, they'll start doing the testing. Very, very late hours of the night, early hours of the morning, until they start doing the timetable integration, testing and driver training about knowledge, and things like that. They'll be doing all of that throughout the day and night.
Yeah.
So it'll be
It's exciting few years coming up, isn't it? So we've got, if we think about it, every year there's something, isn't there? So we've got 2024, we've got Sydney Metro, at least Sydenham.
Yes.
Following year, probably Bankstown. We've got Parramatta Light Rail next year as well.
Yep, we've got new trams for the L1.
Yeah, which you've started to see on test.
Yes. So that would be good to see those in service. There's a lot. There's also the NIF, the new intercity fleet. Maybe.
I think, it was like one of my first videos was the NIF, like the 5th or 6th video I did was when one came in at Central Station.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I can't believe they're still not in service.
So they're saying definitely not this year.
Yeah. Oh really?
Yeah.
Really not
so
this year?
Next year. So
you heard that first, not this year.
Yeah. So next thing you know, next week on into service.
Yeah. So we met at Central Walk, didn't we? Back in when the day opened. That was the first time we met, wasn't it? Yeah.
I recognised your voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I was just there. I saw you were talking to a couple of fans.
That's it. Yeah.
And I was just there, sort of getting some photos, just because I thought you were just part of a family, just getting some photos, and then I just sort of listened for a second. I'm like, wait, it's Paul. So I'm like, hey, down we go. So there's a first.
And then we met a couple of times. We both got invited to go on the Parramatta Light Rail, have a look on the vehicle, which was fun, wasn't it?
I was really happy to see it. That was really cool. Yeah.
And it's can you think of other times where you've been behind the sines? That things have cropped up over the years. You've been on TV as well, haven't you?
Yes.
I don't know if he wanted me to tell you that, but
there was a show with myself and fellow train spotter Paul White from Paul's Train Vlogs.
Yes.
We were on an ITV show called Inside Central Station.
Yeah.
There was an episode dedicated, I guess, to
that was it. Yeah.
like heritage and train spotting and things like that.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, what was the other bit? My mind drew a blank.
About being inside of, getting behind the scenes and things like that.
Yeah. There was there's I guess back then they call it the Southwest Rail Link, so the line between Glenfield and Leppington.
Oh, okay.
There was an open day at Rossmore Yard.
Right. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, you've been there.
So
fantastic.
I was lucky enough to receive an invite for that,
that's good.
And was able to have a bit of a look around in there and everything like that.
It's quite impressive, isn't it? I've only seen it on cab ride videos.
It is really good, and and I just remember like looking around, getting some photos. It was really, really hot. That it was. So I don't know if it was hot or cold.
Yeah.
It was an extreme of some sort.
Yeah.
So we went up into Waratah A57 and sat there for a few hours, I think.
Oh wow!
And so now every time I see A57, I'm like, well, I remember this. This is from the Southwest Rail Link, Rossmore Yard open day. But another thing, which it wasn't an invite, it was actually something that was done via email, which was to access platforms 26 and 27 here at Central.
Yes.
Not the Metro platforms.
Yes. No, the old platforms.
The old ones.
We'll pop a link up to that video, sort of up here somewhere. So you definitely want to look at that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was done via email to Tony Eade. who then was, I think, if I remember correctly, our director of operations or something.
Oh, wow,
He got back to a fellow train spotter who he was the one that emailed, and that's so we went down. We were escorted down there, got some photos, a lot of photos and video footage, and that video was actually uploaded to both Sydney Trains vlogs and Abandoned Oz, because I guess it fits both channels.
Brilliant.
But apart from that, no, I can't think of anything else. No invite type thing, no behind the scenes. It was mainly just other things that were covered. I guess.
Well, hopefully, next year or even this year, hopefully we'll both get chances to go behind the scenes again.
For sure.
Metro.
For sure.
I think it'd be great to do that. So
that'll be really good. I think I'm on the mailing list for Sydney Metro. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Well, I get hundreds of emails from them. So
I get quite a few updates.
But only about 1 in 300 have the word like Community Open Day in them. So you really have to
look carefully. Because it's usually I get 10 emails at once. Campsie work notice.
Exactly.
Helston Park work notice.
That's it. So you get lots of them.
That's it.
So Phil, it's been lovely chatting.
Of course.
If people want to, most people are probably aware of your channel already, but if they're not, where can they go to find out? We've got 2 channels, so we've got Sydney Trains vlogs.
Yeah, you've got Sydney Trains vlogs.
We'll pop a link in the description to that. And then we've also got Abandoned Oz.
And Abandoned Oz, so Abandoned Oz, like OZ, I guess.
We'll pop links to both those.
So there's those 2 channels. If you want to check them out, it'd be greatly appreciated.
And the Abandoned Oz one does have quite a few railway ones on there.
It does have railway-related stuff. It has a few disused train stations. It also features platforms 26 and 27 here at Central. Endless entertainment, I suppose.
That's brilliant. So links to all those sorts of things in the description below. We're going to do another video shortly where Phil's going to chat more to me and ask me loads of questions and put me on the spot.
Yes.
So we'll put a link to that video in the description as well. But for now, we'd like to thank you for taking time to watch this video, and we'll both see you again soon.
Yes.
Ciao. Bye for now.
Bye.